My peoples, what's going on? It's your boy Mike, coming to holler at you guys today. First off, I want to thank everybody who has continued to like and support the Best Friends Book brand. Those of you who have purchased books, and those of you who have like and watched the videos and the content and stuff like that. I hope you're getting something out of it. I hope it's helping you in your marriage, in your committed relationship, or whatever the case might be. But I wanted to come and talk to you guys today about parenting. Uh, Parenting is it's so much in it that you can't just. There's never going to be just one thing that you can grasp and that you can grab that's going to give you every detail that you need to know about how to be a good parent. And good parenting is also predicated amongst what your personal beliefs are, as it pertains to what good parenting is. Because a lot of times we find ourselves in situations where we're duplicating what our parents did to us, to our children, whether it be right or wrong. And oftentimes it's that duplication that often continues to reinvent the wheel of behaviors and actions and thought processes in our children that we would much rather not see. And one of the things that I think is important to understand as parents is, especially when you're married, is that if you want your kids to be different and you don't want them to go down the same path as you have to remember this very important thing. And this is a fact. This is not something that I'm making up, but it is a fact. Your kids will do 95% what you do, 5% what you say. All right, they will do 95% of what you do, 5% what you say. And God knows I have witnessed this with my own child. She's 2 years old, but for 2 years old, Alexis Nicole Wyatt has a great deal of sense. And if you let her, she'll get over on you. But she does a lot of what her daddy does. And y'all excuse that noise. That was my alarm. But neither here nor there. But she does a lot of what her daddy does. She has a very slick mouth, and she gets it honestly from her father. Because I have a very slick mouth, and if you catch me on a bad day, and sometimes you don't even have to catch me on a bad day, you'll witness it for yourself. So I can attest to the fact that your kids do 95% what you say, 5% what you do. So you have to be very mindful as parents is what you're doing around your kids. There's some stuff that my little girl does that I can't get mad at her for doing because she got it from me. She learned how to do that because I taught her how to do that. I may not have directly sat her down and said, "Hey, Alexis, this is what you do in this situation," but through her watching me and gleaning from me what I do in situations similar to that, she adopts those same tactics. But it's not all bad. Some of the stuff a lot of the good traits that she has, I think the Lord, she got them from her mama. But she got a couple of them from me, one or two. But you know what I'm saying? It's because that's what she sees us do. Excuse me. She sees us show each other love every day, all day, nonstop. So she's very loving. She's a very loving, friendly little girl. And if she gets a good vibe from you, she'll hang out with you. She'll play with you. She'll talk to you. If she don't get a good vibe from you, you're gonna see her daddy kick out at him, and she probably gonna tell you, "No, I don't want to go with you." But that's a product of what she's seen and the product of what she's witnessed us do. And and not to make this overly deep or whatever, but now she, every night I pray with her before she goes to bed, and it's always been that way since before she could talk, walk, do anything. And now she'll randomly walk up to her mom or me and she say, "Daddy, I prayed for you today." Well, I say, "Thank you, boo," because I need it. But it's because that's what she's seen me do. We've done it so long that it's a part of who she is now. And if I lay her down to go to sleep, before she go to sleep, she starts to pray, and that's just something that we do. But your kids do 95% what you do, 5% what you say. Um, so that kind of segues me into this book, Best Friends Book. In this book, we talk about children and parenting. And one of the things that we actually coined in this book is an acronym. It's called CRAFT, and I've spoke about it before, but basically it's just some parenting tips that you can utilize to make sure that your parenting is on point. Because if you want your children to act the way that you know that they can act, you're going to have to really broaden your perspective of parenting. And just to kind of go through some of this, craft, it deals with a variance of things, but one of the most important to me is consistency, which is the C in craft. Consistency is going to be, I mean, it's so important when it comes down to parenting. Because if you are inconsistent in any area of your parenting, I'm telling you, your children will they'll take advantage of your inconsistency. And they'll let you know that they're taking advantage of your inconsistency and won't care. They won't care. So if you make it a rule in your house that something has to be done, whatever the case might be, you have to stick to that. Because if you don't, I'm telling you, your children will take full advantage of you. And then they'll start to display behaviors that you don't agree with. But once you get too far gone, there's not really much that you can do about it at that point. You kind of put yourself in a situation to where you're at a lose-lose. But consistency is something that you have to start with, and it's something that you have to continue through the duration of your parenting, whether your kids are grown adults or whether they're toddlers like mine. All right. So consistency is so important, man. I can't stress how important it is to be consistent as a parent. There are certain when your kids get to high school and middle school and they start, being involved in activities, don't miss those activity moments. Don't miss those games. Don't miss those projects. Don't miss those parent teacher conferences. You have to be consistent because it's that consistency that shows them that, hey, I'm going to support you, whether you have done wrong at home or whatever the case might be. I'm still going to support your endeavors. And it's that consistency that continues to help build the parent-child relationship. If you do not have that positive level of consistency and it happens frequently and often, it's going to put a strain on your relationship with your child. So I'm praying that you guys are being consistent parents and not just fly by the seat of your pants parents. And there's another issue with well, not really an issue, but another topic with parenting that I want to touch on that we didn't touch on in Best Friends book, but we are going to touch on it in our next book about parenting. And that being the issue of co-parenting. So this is for the parents who are not in a relationship but you have a child together. And one thing that I really want you guys to understand about this particular situation is that it's very unique, number one, and number two, you have to grow up really fast. So if you're immature, you're going to make this process very hard. You're going to make it very hard. But it's not going to be very hard just for you. It's going to be hard for your child. And sometimes I question if you parents who are co-parenting really consider and take into account how this is going to affect your child. If my child see me and mommy arguing every time we meet up, what am I doing to my kid? What am I telling my kid about how I value their mother? Whether we are together or not, at some point, I enjoyed her enough to sleep with her and have a child and bring a life into this world. So with that being the case, sometimes you have to put aside your own personal isms and schisms with a person to deal with them for the greater good. And the greater good in that situation is your child. Is your child. And a lot of times what happens is these women get with these dudes, and if it don't work out, you get so mad and bitter and disgusted that you try to make the man's life miserable because he don't want you. Let me help you. Stop doing that, because you're not really affecting him. You're affecting the child in their growth and development. I ain't letting you see your child. But I bet you if he threw you a couple hundreds, you'll let her see her. You'll let him see her or him. He throw you some money, or he tell you, "Oh, girl, I miss you." You'll let him see him, or you let him see the kids. So, you guys have to understand what this is doing to your children. You're teaching your children how to make commodities out of people. I only want to be with you. I only want to do what's in my best interest of what I want. It's all about me, 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 me. And then you get mad when your kids portray that same behavior towards you. I don't want to go with you, Mom. I want to go with my friends. So you got to bribe her or him, your sons or your daughters, to spend time with you, just the same way that you try to bribe their dad or their mom to spend time with you. So, like, come on, man. You are teaching them how to do this stuff. You're teaching them these behaviors. So if you're co-parenting, please, 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 for your children's sake, sit down with the person that you had this child by, and y'all need to come to an agreement on visitation. You need to come to an agreement on whose responsibility is going to be financially to take care of different things. You need to come to an agreement on who going to the school she get in trouble and one person can't get there, who's going to be the first point of contact. You need to come to an agreement on holidays. We need to come to an agreement on what we're doing for birthdays. All of this has to be discussed. And the problem is everybody's so pissed off about the relationship not working that we don't want to talk about nothing, and we totally dismiss the fact that we have this child that we both have to parent. So then what happens as a result is daddy gets missing, and then mama just start kissing everybody else, and you stuck in the middle looking like, why you kissing on that dude? He ain't my daddy. Or vice versa. Man, what you kissing that girl for, man? She ain't my mom's. So you have to really be careful with this co-parenting thing, because it's a big part of society, and it's. Sorry about that. My phone started ringing while I was in the middle of the video. But like I was saying, even in court, they do what's in the best interest of the child. They do what's in the best interest of the child. And you have to do that too as their parent. You owe them that. They didn't ask you to be here. So for whatever it's worth, man, you guys work on that. And I pray that you're having good marriages, good relationships. If you don't have a copy of the book, we got a couple copies left, so you still get a copy. Before we order any more, we're gonna sell out of these last couple of ones that we have. So be happy, be in love, be married. Best Friends Book. Peace.